The NBA landscape has officially been flipped on its head. Kevin Durant is now a Rocket, teams are reloading, and dynasties are being built. Going into the 2025-26 season, here are the top 5 teams to watch. Welcome back to the fourth quarter, where we post bi-weekly content on the NBA, NFL, and MLB. So if you're into sports breakdowns, power rankings, trade talk, prospect rankings, all of that stuff, hit the subscribe button and don't miss out on our next uploads. First up, we're going to go with an honorable mention. And the honorable mention is the Cleveland Cavaliers. First in the East last season, bowed out to the Indiana Pacers in the second round. I think they made a great move getting Lonzo Ball, but I don't think it's enough. I think he's a great passer, defensive-minded player, exactly what they need. But I think the Garland-Mitchell backcourt still is too much of a problem defensively. You have 2 undersized guards, and I think any top team's going to pick them apart. I think Indiana picked them apart. I think the Knicks would pick them apart. Boston, not going to be that great this year, but still could pick them apart. I think a lot of teams, with top offensive backcourts are going to dominate this team with a small backcourt, and I just don't think Mobley, Mitchell, and Garland is going to be enough for this team to win the championship. I think they could still be the 1 seed. They're a great regular season team, but I think that's about their ceiling. All right, let's get into the actual top 5. Number 5, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Ant-Man era is officially here. Anthony Edwards just turned 24, not even in his prime yet, and he's already the face of the franchise. He's one of the best young talents in the entire NBA. The Wolves are building around him, I would say, the right way. They have a lot of good role players around him, but he might need a second co-star if they really want to get over the hump. That's why I'm only having that at 5 here. They have put him with 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert, All-NBA Julius Randle, and elite role players like Naz Reid around him. I think this team's going to need a few more things to win. I think they're still a very good team. I mean, back-to-back conference finals. I don't think the Cat trade was the best thing for them, to be honest. I think the Donte DiVincenzo New York had and the Donte DiVincenzo they got is just simply not the same player. And I think if Julius Randle can really step up in the postseason and be a consistent scorer like he is in the regular season, the sky's the limit for this team and they can win a championship, but that's a big if because Julius Randle has been a consistent playoff dropper. I really love Julius Randle as a player and I hope that's not the case, but as of right now, I think they might need to make one more big splash if they're going to win a championship, but with Anthony Edwards only getting better, there's still no way to count this team out. I still put them in the top 5. Number 4, the Denver Nuggets. As long as Nikola Jokic exists, the Nuggets are going to be a contender. They nearly beat the Thunder in 7. They went 7 games with them in the second round and had a strong offseason. They added Nicholas Claxton, brought back Bruce Brown, and signed Tim Hardaway Jr. All solid pieces that really give them more. I think Jamal Murray and their other pieces kind of fell off this season. I think that's something that they really look to address. I think Claxton's a sneaky underrated, one of the best moves of this offseason. I think Michael Porter Jr., he's a solid player, but I don't think he was really going to fit on this team with Jamal Murray and Jokic. I think him needing the ball in his hands too much, I think is better in a place like Brooklyn where you could just kind of score unconsciously without worrying about, winning basketball. But I think that this team made great moves this offseason. I think Claxton was, again, a great move. And I think they reloaded. I think they keep their identity. I think Jokic, obviously, as long as you have him, he's the best player in basketball, and I don't see this team going anywhere. They're deeper, and I think with their additions, they could easily win a championship again this year. Number 3, a team skyrocketing up the rankings after making the biggest splash of the offseason, the Houston Rockets. KD to Houston might be the most dangerous move of this offseason. The Rockets were the 2 seed in the West before KD joined. KD is the ultimate plug-and-play superstar. He fits anywhere, especially on a team that already defends at a high level. They've only just added more, and I think this team's defensively was insane, but now they have Kevin Durant, one of the most unconscious scorers in NBA history, the best scorer in NBA history, hands down. Their only weakness last year was really that they didn't have playoff experience, and they got that this year, the regular cast, and then you add KD, a 2-time finals MVP and one of the best playoff risers in NBA history. I think people don't talk about that enough. His years in Brooklyn and Golden State and OKC in the playoffs were just absolutely insane. I think the Suns team just made some bad moves, and I think Bradley Beal was a horrible decision, and that's why they never really did anything with Kevin Durant there. Doesn't speak to Kevin Durant's talent and his ability to play basketball. I think he's going to be so good for this team, and I think this team could really win a championship, especially with Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant gets another one with Houston as the main guy, we're going to have to start having some uncomfortable conversations about where Kevin Durant ranks all time. And at number 2, we have the New York Knicks. The Knicks are running it back. This time, a little bit smarter, a little bit better bench, and a different coach. I think Mike Brown was a great hire for them. I think he just brings, offensive floor way up for this team. Last year, they went all in. They made 2 huge moves going for Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. But this year, they made subtle smart moves. Jordan Clarkson and Garshawn Yabusele on cheap deals. That fixes their biggest issue, their bench depth. Clarkson gives them microwave scoring off the bench, and Yabusele adds front court flexibility. Mike Brown is a big hire. He should raise their offensive ceiling again, like I said, and I think a lot of the times what this team did last season was just give the ball to Cat or Brunson and get out of the way. I think OG and Bridges, and I think the rest of this team has a lot of offensive potential that they really didn't see with Tom Thibodeau. I think plays are going to get drawn up now that really incorporate OG and Bridges into the offense. I think both of them were upset about their touches last year. OG has shown that he is literally like Kawhi Leonard too. In some ways, he is the closest thing to Kawhi Leonard we have, and the fact that he's the 3rd best player in the Knicks, and I think he could definitely go even higher. I think if he's used properly, I think if they scheme for him, he's such a good player. And I think Bridges, defensively, I think he had to overcompensate a bit for Cat too much last season. I think Mike Brown, and if they coach this team better, they have Mitchell Robinson healthy, I think he won't have to do that as much. If Cat's playing the 4 instead of the 5, you won't need, and he could really show his own talents defensively. And I think this team can really win a championship. I think they're the favorites to come out of the East, bar none right now. Obviously, there's a long way to go in the season, but I think this team is the best team in the Eastern Conference. And at number 1, no surprise here, the reigning chance of staying on top, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder didn't lose anyone. They didn't need to. SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren are only getting better, and they're just entering their prime. The team is young, the youngest champions ever, super deep, and they have insane chemistry. They're just title contenders. They might be a dynasty. I think that they're the ball's in everyone else's court. Who beats OKC? OKC does not need to change a thing right now. I think every other team needs to catch up to them. I think if they stay put, they just keep growing because they're such a young team. The youngest champion ever with an absurd amount of first-round picks. They could make splashes at the deadline using those picks, and I think based on injuries and how the season goes, who asks out, they could. But the thing is, they don't have to, and that puts them in such a good position. A lot of these teams, they need to make big moves. Like I'd say the Minnesota Timberwolves, they need to make a big move. OKC doesn't. When the ball's in your court and you could just say, hey, if we can make it, we will. If not, we don't have to. We have the resources for it without giving up any of our championship players with the amount of picks they have. But they don't have to because they're so good and they're so young. I think that puts them in an absolutely insane spot. This could be one of the best teams ever. I'll say it right now. I think the Golden State Warriors teams of the past and the Bulls teams of the past, this Oklahoma City team, if they can keep their core together and the second apron doesn't screw with them too much, I think this team can be one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history, which is just absurd to say this early, but I think it's true. Thank you all for watching. To recap, we got the Timberwolves at 5, Nuggets 4, Rockets 3, Knicks 2, and Thunder 1. Who did I overrate? Who did I underrate? Do you have some team in the top 5 that I didn't put there? Drop your top 5 in the comments and let me know if your team made the cut. We've got a lot more content like this coming all season and off season long for MLB, NFL, and NBA, of course. So if you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much.